In 2017, a $2 piece of plastic made over $500 million in a few months. Every kid had one. Every school banned one. Every store sold out of one. And the person who actually invented it made almost nothing. That somebody was not who invented it. And the person who did invent it made almost nothing. This is the story of the fidget spinner, and it might be the most chaotic, most ridiculous, most accidental money story we've ever covered. Let's get into it. To understand how the fidget spinner happened, you have to understand who Catherine Hettinger is. Catherine was not a toy designer. She wasn't a product developer. She wasn't some sharp entrepreneur looking for the next big thing. She was a chemical engineer from Florida who got sick. In the early 1990s, Catherine was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, an autoimmune disease that causes muscle weakness. At its worst, she could barely lift her arms. She had a young daughter. And when you're a mom who can barely pick things up, entertaining a 7-year-old gets complicated fast. So Catherine did what any creative, slightly desperate parent would do. She started making stuff. She took a small disc, added some weight to the outside, let it spin in her hand. Her daughter loved it. Neighborhood kids loved it. Catherine thought, maybe this could actually be something. So in 1997, she filed a patent for a spinning toy device. The patent was approved. Catherine tried to sell it to Hasbro, one of the biggest toy companies in the world. Hasbro passed. Nobody else came knocking either, and so the patent just sat there for years. Catherine kept renewing it, kept hoping something would happen. But renewals cost money, and Catherine didn't have a lot of it. In 2005, she let the patent expire. She simply couldn't afford the $400 renewal fee. $400. That's like 2 Uber Eats orders today. That's what it costs to keep the rights to what would eventually become a $500 million product. She couldn't swing it. So the patent expired. The idea went into the public domain, and Catherine Hettinger went back to her life, sick, broke, and completely unaware of what was about to happen 12 years later. Fast forward to 2017. The fidget spinner as we know it didn't come from one single source. It evolved in the early 2000s through a handful of small manufacturers and online sellers, mostly targeting kids with ADHD and anxiety as a focus tool. It was a niche product, a therapy toy, something you'd find in a specialty store or an occupational therapist's office. And then the internet got hold of it. Trick-shot videos started appearing on YouTube. People were doing insane things with these little spinning toys, balancing them on fingers, noses, foreheads, spinning them on pencils, stacking them. The videos racked up millions of views almost overnight. And the moment that happens, the moment something gets millions of eyes on it for free, every manufacturer on the planet wakes up. Because here's the thing about the fidget spinner that made it a perfect storm for making money fast. There was no patent protecting it anymore. Catherine had let it expire 12 years earlier, which meant anyone, literally anyone, could manufacture and sell a fidget spinner without paying a single cent in licensing fees. And they did. By spring of 2017, fidget spinners had gone from a niche therapy tool to the most talked about product on the internet. Forbes called it the must-have office toy of 2017. Time magazine covered it. Every major news outlet ran a segment asking, "What is this thing and why does everyone have one?" Teachers started complaining. Schools started banning them. And if there's one thing that makes a kid want something more than anything else, it's being told they can't have it. Sales went vertical. Amazon's top 20 best-selling toys list was almost entirely fidget spinners by May 2017. 20 different versions, 20 different sellers, all of them printing money simultaneously. Walmart couldn't keep them stocked. Target couldn't keep them stocked. Gas stations were selling them. Dollar stores were selling them. Street vendors in New York City were selling them out of folding tables. At the peak of the craze, an estimated 200,000 fidget spinners were being sold every single day in the United States alone. Every single day. Now let's talk about the money, because this is where it gets genuinely insane. The average fidget spinner was selling for somewhere between $5 and $25 retail. The cost to manufacture one in China, where the overwhelming majority were produced, was somewhere between 50 cents and $1.50 depending on the quality. Do the math. Even at the low end, a $5 spinner with a $1 manufacturing cost, that's an 80% profit margin for a toy with 3 ball bearings and a plastic frame. The importers and distributors who moved fast, who placed massive orders in January and February of 2017 before the craze fully hit, were selling containers of fidget spinners and making hundreds of thousands of dollars in weeks. One viral Amazon seller reportedly cleared over $1 million in a single month. Small Etsy shops that started making premium metal versions were back-ordered for months. A guy in Texas reportedly quit his job in March 2017 to sell fidget spinners full-time. By June, he had made more money than he had in the previous 3 years combined. This wasn't one person getting rich. This was an entire economy built around a spinning piece of plastic, and it happened in about 90 days. Total estimated revenue across the entire fidget spinner market in 2017, somewhere between $500 million and $1 billion in 1 year, from a toy that costs less than $1 to make. And Catherine Hettinger, the woman who actually invented the thing? She made nothing. Not a percentage. Not a licensing fee. Not a settlement. Nothing. Because the patent had expired. Because she couldn't afford a $400 renewal fee back in 2005. Because the legal window had closed years before anyone cared. In interviews during the height of the craze, Catherine was remarkably gracious about it. She said she was happy the toy was bringing people joy, that she hoped it was helping kids who needed it. But she also said, quietly, that she wished she could have afforded to keep the patent alive. $400. That's the difference between broke and $1 billion product in this story. And then, just as fast as it started, it was over. By late 2017, fidget spinners were dead. Not declining, not fading, dead. The meme had run its course. The joke had expired. The algorithm had moved on. Retailers who had ordered millions of units in anticipation of a second wave were left holding inventory they couldn't give away. Amazon sellers who had quit their jobs were quietly looking for new products. The manufacturers in China pivoted to whatever the next thing was, and the fidget spinner, the toy that had made hundreds of millions of dollars and dominated global conversation for 6 months, became a punchline. You can still find them at dollar stores today, usually in a bin, usually next to some fidget cubes and a couple of knockoff phone cases. They retail for $1, the same toy that was selling for $25 just a few years ago. But here's what the fidget spinner story actually proves. And this is the part most people miss. You don't need a patent to make millions. You don't need to be first. You don't need to be the inventor. You don't even need a unique product. You need timing. The people who made real money on fidget spinners weren't the ones who invented them. They were the ones who saw the wave coming 2 or 3 months before it crested, placed a massive bet, moved fast, and got out before the crash. That's not luck. That's pattern recognition. The wave was visible if you were paying attention. The YouTube videos were going viral in January. The Google Trends data was spiking in February. The Amazon search volume was climbing in March. The people who won were the ones who looked at those signals and said, "This is about to be everywhere," and then acted before everyone else figured it out. The people who lost were the ones who waited until it was already everywhere, ordered massive inventory in June, and got stuck holding it when the wave crashed in August. Timing is everything. Catherine Hettinger invented the product. She just didn't have the timing or the $400 to be there when it mattered. One sick mom, one spinning toy, one expired patent, and $500 million made by people who didn't invent it. That's accidental millions. If this is the kind of story you want more of, hit the subscribe button right now. We drop new videos every week, and trust me, it only gets more ridiculous from here.